if my systems weren't actually supporting the schedule I was creating, then I was setting myself up for failure. And that led me to take this really deep dive into how I can design systems that are supportive of the schedule that I want to have. Let's talk about how. I am really excited for us to dive into this topic today because this is a continuation of our CEO series from last week. If you didn't check out last week's episode, or you were on YouTube and you didn't check out last week's video, I talked about basically why I hate time blocking, why I have always felt like it created more stress than it was work, and why I use what I call a CEO schedule instead. It is essentially a schedule that allows me to theme my days, so I'm kind of already in a headspace when I sit down to work Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. I shared a little bit about how you can create your own CEO schedule and how I've themed my days and what led me to doing that. I even shared a little bit of some of the mistakes I made along the way. And this is part 2 of that CEO schedule series, where I share how and why I built my system strategically to help support the schedule I want to have. Okay. So this is really important. Before I had this system, my weeks felt like kind of a game of Jenga. It was like one reschedule, one bad night's sleep, and the whole thing fell apart. If I had like an impulse moment where I wanted to work on something, everything would fall apart. Like, I feel like it led to a lot of decision fatigue. It led to a lot of calendar dread. It led to a lot of like task list shame, because I am somebody who probably puts things on my task list that I shouldn't. I use it more as like an idea dumping ground, or used in the past more like an idea dumping ground. That's not how I used it anymore. But I would genuinely feel like, when I would sit down to start working every single day, I had no idea what I was working on. I had to wade through this like 80 bajillion task list to decide. Or I felt like I worked all day and really didn't feel like I was making any progress, like meaningful progress on my goals, or B, kind of wondered at the end of the day, like, what did I actually do today? Like, what did I actually move the needle on? What did I actually spend time doing? So after I created this CEO schedule, I kind of tried to like white knuckle my way through it for a while. I liked it. I liked its intention. But in the day to day, in the actual, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of me using it, it felt like it was falling flat. It just didn't feel like it was as effective as it could be. And then I started thinking about, okay, well, I love Notion. I'm in Notion every single day. Is there a way that I can set up my Notion systems? Or if you use another system, cool. But y'all know I'm a Notion nerd. I love Notion. I thought about, how can I use my Notion systems in a way that not only supports the schedule, but I can actually set up my Notion systems so that it automatically for me helps make the decision of what I'm working on any given day. Okay. So this is kind of how I went about doing this. Today is going to be a little bit of a verbal storytelling, walking you through this process, and it's going to be a little bit of a show and tell. So you're going to hear me talk through things on the podcast, but if you want to actually see the insides of my Notion systems, I will link the YouTube video in the podcast show notes. And for those of you that are already on YouTube, welcome. You're already getting the behind the scenes pass. So I'm going to show you the how, and I'm also going to show you what I did and how I set up my Notion systems to support the CEO schedule. So before we get into too much of that, let's talk about and kind of remind you of what are my days in my CEO schedule. So I went over this in the last video, but my Monday is my CEO day. I have no meetings for the majority of my Mondays. It's very rare when I have exceptions to that, but I have no meetings on my schedule on Mondays. Tuesday is a client day. It's a very heavy call day for my tutoring students as well as for client work. Wednesday is pretty light from a meeting perspective. So Wednesday is my kind of conversion community day. It's when I try to plug into the communities I'm in. It's when I try to kind of get on networking calls, do networking, like meet up with the local networking groups I'm in. That is very much like a connection day. I probably could call it like connection day. I actually like that better. For whatever reason, all of my days have C names: CEO day, client day, now connection day. Thursday is creative day. So that is a day where I will generally have lighter meetings, very, very few calls on my schedule. So I will do a lot of kind of creative behind the scenes, like working on projects. And then Friday is kind of a free for all. I call Friday catch up day because that is a day to catch up on my to-dos from earlier in the week. If I don't have a lot going on, I can, end early. I do also though have some networking calls. Actually, a lot of my networking calls have shifted from Wednesday to Friday. So I might need to do a little bit of rearranging there. But those are my days of the week. And again, if you need help coming up with your themes for your days of the week, especially if you are an entrepreneur, but even if you are a corporate employee, I give some alternatives for people who are corporate employees in our previous episode. So go ahead and check that out. Again, on YouTube, go ahead and check out the previous video. I'll link it in the show notes. I may even remember to do the little button thingy at the top, but I kind of suck at that. So I'm not patient enough to find the timestamp of the video to actually do that. But I will link it in the show notes below for everybody, podcast or YouTube. Okay. So that is how I first start this whole process, is I define what my days are. And then as I was thinking through this, I thought about what are the things from my systems, from my Notion databases, my Notion dashboards that I need for these varying days of the week. Now for CEO Day is the day where I'm checking in on, I'm moving the needle on projects and whatnot, but I'm checking in on KPIs. I'm checking in on sales. That is really what I am doing when I am doing my CEO Day. Okay. My CEO days tend to be my first Monday of the month is where I really check in on my previous months, KPIs, financials, etc. Second and third Mondays are generally very content focused days. Fourth Monday tends to be a systems day. And then fifth Monday is kind of free for all. So I have kind of things that I'm generally doing. So I need to make sure I have access to those things when I am working and when I am, checking into that day in my space. And again, I'm going to give you a preview on what these systems look like in just a second. Okay. So I need that kind of stuff in my systems for the CEO Day. For my client day, I need access to, the programs that I'm hosting. So my Burnout-Proof business program, where it's a very systems forward group coaching membership style program where we are helping you build the systems, we're helping you set the boundaries, we're helping you create the schedule so you can have more sustainable and burnout-proof business operations. It's the whole point of that. So I might have my programs that I need to check into on that dashboard. I might have the clients that I'm actively working with at that time. I also tutor a lot on that day, so I might need to be able to see my students in the databases and on that page. So I kind of am brainstorming, okay, for client day, what do I need to have easy access to on that day? For my connection day, my Wednesdays, that is going to be a time where I have what I call an outreach dashboard. I'm keeping track of new connections that I'm making, but also new prospective clients. So I might need access to those aspects of my outreach dashboard, my people CRM, my actual client CRM. I'm going to need access to those things. And then same thing for Thursday and Friday. So I'm kind of going through, and based on my themes, I am brainstorming what aspects of my systems do I need access to. Okay. So first part of it was our last video, our last episode where we talked about what the CEO schedule is and how to find your themes. The second part of this is then to brainstorm what part of your systems do you need to have easy access to support those things. And again, there's going to be a little of experimentation with this. You might think you need some aspect of your system that you actually literally never touch into. That's potentially going to happen. That's okay. That's pretty normal, I would say. But kind of brainstorm from your days of the week, brainstorm from your schedule, what aspects of your systems you might need. Okay. And then what I would recommend doing is I would recommend creating daily pages in your Notion systems or in whatever systems you use. And again, this is where I'm going to start to do a little bit of show and tell. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen so we can see a little bit of what this looks like. All right. So if we look here, I have different days of the week in this master dashboards database. I've been kind of playing with a new way to organize all of the different databases in my Notion systems. I kind of like this layout. This is what I've been using for now, but I have daily pages. I have a page for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So let's click into Monday so you can kind of see how this is. So each day has a theme. It has some projects that might be associated with it. These are the current projects that I'm working on, and I refresh these on a monthly and quarterly basis. And then items from my library that I might need to access. My library links to my Knowledge Hub where I keep notes from courses or programs that I'm in. So each day has kind of these different themes assigned. And then you'll notice the top of every page is exactly the same. I have a reminder of my income goal, kind of what I'm focusing on right now, and then links to these other pages. So as the week goes along, I can super easily navigate between the different pages. Then what I've got next is I've got my power hour, which is unique to every single day. I have a different power hour depending upon the day. And then I have my focuses for the day, which as we navigate through the different pages, you're going to see that this, it looks the same, but it's going to update every day. So it's going to update with whatever the new tasks and items are that I need to do. So it's got that, but really when we scroll down, this is where it starts to get unique to each of the pages in my system. So again, I have a page for each day of the week. On Monday, my page has KPIs. So it has my new contacts, my recent conversations, my visibility convos. I traveled a lot in June, so this is a little bit sparse right now. My new leads by status, my converted leads, and then my sales, which I actually need to update this. I'm not sure why it's showing the number of sales and not like the amount that's been brought in. So this is unique to Monday. Monday is the day where I'm doing my KPI check-in. So Monday is the only day that has this information on it. And then we have my habits check-ins at the end here. So that is what the Monday page looks like. But when I navigate over to Tuesday, again, the top of it looks the same. Again, income goals. So I put kind of important reminders at the top of my page and whatever things are going to make it easy for me to navigate between pages. And I'm still trying to decide if I like this better, just with some different kind of formatting here. I'm trying to decide if I like it better either like this or if I like it better with the 2-column layout. Again, people who are listening to the podcast, check out the YouTube video, or I might actually upload this as a video if you want to watch the video version of the podcast. But kind of important reminders, things to help keep me inspired. The power hour, which again, I update for every single day of the week, my focuses. And then because Tuesday is client day, and I'm not going to expand these because I don't necessarily want to, for privacy's sake, I have a place where I can expand my students that are active students, my clients that are active clients. But I also feel like what I should go ahead and put in here is my programs/services, because I want to be able to easily check in with the clients from those various different services. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do a linked database to my product services hub, and I'm just going to show my services. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. We want to keep page cover. I'll do small, and I don't need all of these properties visible. I really just need that. So now I can easily navigate to my different services if I've got kind of check-ins I want to do for my Burnout-Proof business program or something like that, or for the podcast hub. So I've got those all on my Tuesday, because this is client day. So I want easy access to be able to find the things that are related to my clients. When I pop over to Wednesday, again, top is the same. Power hour is unique to that Wednesday. But then on Wednesday, oh, actually, it looks like this got moved. Oh, I know why this got moved. As I mentioned earlier in this video, this doesn't have a lot on it because this is more of, I actually feel like I'm kind of doing a little bit of shuffling, where Wednesdays is becoming more of like my creative day, and Thursdays and Fridays are becoming more of like my connection day. So you're actually going to see me, for those of you who are watching the video, make some updates in real time here, because again, I actually don't need I kind of need my outreach tracker to be on Friday, since that's when I'm doing majority of my networking now. But what I might need on Wednesday, if we navigate back to the Wednesday page, this is becoming more of like a conversion. Actually, let's make this creative day. I actually think I want to swap this out for creative day. Let me just make sure I set this up. So since this is more of a creative day now, I'm going to go ahead and put like projects down here, and I'm going to do a linked view of my projects database. And I think what I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to do a new view. I'm going to do a gallery, and I'm going to have this be like my active projects. I might update this every quarter or so, because maybe what I want to do is I want to show the projects that are related to this quarter, and I want to show the projects that have an in progress status. Beautiful. So this allows me to then super easily jump into these projects from this page, since this is more of my creation day. Thursday used to be a creation day. I think I'm going to make Thursday more of my community day. I do have some students and some clients on this day, but actually this isn't the big focus of the day. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and copy some of this client outreach related stuff from Friday onto here because I think I want to make Thursday more of my community day moving forward. Awesome. Okay. So we've got all of that on here. We've got everything we need on here. So now this is a day where I can actually connect with my community more. I also am going to go ahead and copy my, my power hour over since I'm kind of swapping these 2 days. So Thursday is going to be here. And then Wednesday is going to have those creation things. So I have to identify a project to focus on for 60 minutes, and I have to finalize Friday's dating podcast. Those are my creation themes. And then Friday, I'm going to finalize and schedule my newsletter, finalize my system Saturday, and I'm going to attend networking. I'm going to attend an Aligned AF networking. I'm going to attend I can't remember the other networking I tend to go to. The coach's social networking. And then sometimes I go to a 6-figure promote her business circle. So I'm going to put that on the power hour too. So coach's social, 6-figure circle. Beautiful. All right. So this is kind of what I mean then when I say your system should support your schedule. So literally what I do every day, and it's actually built into my morning routines. So I go through my daily check-in page. I kind of do my morning routine. I get aligned. I check in on, I'm doing 75 hard. I check in on my habits, my 75 hard. I establish my priorities, and then I just go straight to whatever day of the week it is. And I operate off of this page, and I kind of use this page. I really don't go to a lot of like my project trackers or my to-do list or anything like that. I go to my pages for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because they are laid out with exactly what I need for that particular day of the week. So this is what I mean when I say set up your systems to reflect and support your schedule. This exists because A, my energy isn't predictable. B, I have ADHD tendencies. I'm undiagnosed, but damn sure I have it. It helps me to make sure I'm taking the burden off of my brain to know what I need to do every single day. So creating these daily pages, laying out the daily pages with the information I need to best support myself has been incredibly, incredibly helpful. So I hope this gave you some ideas and inspiration for how you might do it in your own Notion systems and your own systems in general. Again, if you don't know what your daily themes are, go ahead and go to the video I've linked down below in the description to support you and help you out. But with that, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. I really hope you enjoyed this topic. This is something that has been supremely helpful for me. I can't even put into words how much peace of mind it gives me, because I feel like now I sit down, button share every single day, and I know exactly what I'm working on, because not only is my schedule laid out to kind of tell me what I'm working on, but my systems are set up to support me in working on that thing. It's no longer guessing and checking. It's no longer just kind of flailing and, going by impulse to figure out how I'm spending my time that day. My systems are set up to support the way I want to live and the schedule I want to have. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So if you've got any questions or comments below, for those of you on YouTube who want to see me dive further into any parts of these systems, don't forget to drop a comment below. Same for the youths who are listening to the podcast. If there are parts of this system that you want to hear me kind of elaborate more on, please let me know. But you can always, always, always check out some of the links below. Join my free community. I have a Notion support channel as well as just like a general support channel. Ask your questions, get plugged in. And then if you really want help dialing in your systems for yourself, that is what Burnout-Proof Business is for. Burnout-Proof Business is going to be going through a revamp later this year, as well as a price increase. So if you want to get in for the founding rate before the price goes up, we have weekly implementation labs. You get access to my entire systems vault, and I help you build out a burnout-proof business, whether that's refining offers, a lot of streamlining systems and automating, or just figuring out what your boundaries are and what your schedule is and how you can best set yourself up to support that. That is all stuff we dive into in Burnout-Proof Business. So with that, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening, watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all the things. And with that, I will talk to you next time. Stay relentless, achievers. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.